Otaku Octagon, welcome back. Welcome back. It has been a good little minute. We weren't taking a break. It was more so that David has a job. This is not his priority. So
I have
I'm
a
just
second
kidding.
job, guys. I'm sorry.
He was out there traveling, seeing the world, seeing the sights, shaking babies, kissing hands, things like that. So was it the
It was the other way. Other than last, you know what? Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. What happens in Russia stays in Russia. So
That's a bloody fact.
what happens in Russia stays in Russia. Anyways, but it's been a minute. It's been a whole minute. We got a lot of content that we've prepared, not for today, but they're going to be the subsequent videos after this. But we have to do our normal mid-season tier review for summer 2024 anime that just came out. We have some bangers. I won't say unfortunately, unfortunately, we don't have usually sometimes we have about 15 new ones. There's been a lot of returners, and you know us. If it's a returner, we don't usually cover it because we've talked about these returners so many times, like Demon Slayer, Mushoku Tensei, My Hero Academia, all these bangers that dropped. We've talked about them in length before. So if you haven't seen those shows, just go watch them. But we're not going to talk about them. This is more for the new shows that we watch. So we have about 10 today. But first, we're going to get into the news. I only have 4 news snippets. A lot of the news in the past few weeks has been about the shows that have come out for this season. And the season's already not halfway. About halfway over. We're about halfway done. So y'all would have probably already known unless you haven't seen these shows yet. So the first one, and we haven't been on the screen together in a minute. So these may be new to you or old to you. I'm still going to bring them out because I'm excited. New Berserk anime trailer just dropped, and that shit looked amazing. I was like, when I first saw the first clip, not clip, but it was a picture of it, and I saw the wings in the moon. I was like, is that Batman? Like, they got Bruce Wayne is in Berserk, but the new trailer just dropped. For those of y'all who have kids, this is not kid friendly. So if you don't know what Berserk is,
don't tell them how to run their life.
Yeah, watch it when you're little. When your little ones are gone.
So is this a remake of the original or not? There's been multiple remakes, but of the same story, just retold again, or
it's
we get a continuation.
So from the trailer and the clips, because I've skimmed through it, kind of skipped it. It looks like it's a remake, but it's reanimated, if that makes sense. It's like the movie level animation, but for the anime or for the actual show. But I think from the clips, it looks like some stuff that I haven't seen before. So I'm like, I don't know if they're just adding some context, some filler scenes or something. I'm not sure, but it looks good because it had the whole scene where Guts is getting fucked up in the woods and he puts his sword in his mouth and starts killing motherfuckers after he got shot with arrows 50 times. Shout out to my nigga Boromir. 3 arrows took you down, but whatever. Lord of the Rings reference for those of y'all. All right, anyways. Next, Terminator anime was just announced. That shit looks amazing. Oh my god. Which is hilarious because the pages that you and me are on, the anime pages, motherfuckers are like, why the fuck are they doing this? Nobody asked for this. I'm like, are you stupid? One of the most successful movie franchises in the world. And you want to say we don't want this? There's a Lord of the Rings anime, which I didn't even put that down here. There's an animated Lord of the Rings movie coming out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is it a movie or a show? It's I think it's a 2-part, 3-part series. It's a movie. It's a fucking movie.
Okay.
There's an anime, and it's about the battle. I forgot the name because I'm going through a brain dump right now.
I'll drop it somewhere over here.
Yeah. Anyways, but what do you mean we don't want this? Are you kidding me? This should look. First of all, the animation looked like Ninja Kamui style animation. It looked fucking amazing. It looks bloody. It looks violent, and it's about the T series robots. Now, it doesn't really give any context of what the story is about yet, but fuck it.
It's Terminator. Care. It's anime Terminator. Like two things that I love.
Just like when they were gonna do the John Wick one, and people were like, "Oh, this looks stupid." How? How does it look stupid? Please. What do you want? Matter of fact, what do you want?
To hate. I'm convinced at this point.
Professional haters.
People get paid to hate on Facebook and Twitter all day long.
Oh yeah.
Because niggas cannot tell me that they don't get on a clock 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Shit, sometimes 12 o'clock in the morning every day just to hate for free. Ain't no
Like,
way.
nah,
Ain't no fucking
nah.
way.
They're like reverse content creators. Or they just hate content. They're just like, I'm not gonna
That is
show
their
you what I
content.
love. I'm gonna show you what I hate. Um,
That's their content, bro.
but all right, so next one, you'll like this one. One Piece has dethroned Dragon Ball as Toei's top earning franchise. So
Congrats. I mean,
congratulations, One
Dragon
Piece.
Dragon Ball hasn't had a new episode in a few years now.
Yeah,
So,
it happens. It happens. It happens. It happens.
but in their defense, this year, Dragon Ball, obviously because of Toriyama's death,
Yeah,
did have a increase in sales. So
they did.
One Piece
They
did
did.
manage to trump that. Congrats. I mean, I'm
Congrats.
happy that One Piece is getting
Yeah,
recognition, but at the
yeah,
end of the
yeah.
day,
It should.
it's really
It should.
not that big of a deal.
It should. This next one's a W for us Naruto fans. It is what it is. People are hating on this, of course. They're joking. I wouldn't say hating. They were just making fun of it. And I'm like, but anyways. Naruto was crowned the most popular kids TV series by Google Study or Google
Very
Review.
nice.
So
Very nice.
people were like, yeah, kids show. Like, yeah, it's a fucking kids show.
They
Like,
not see Dragon Ball was up there in
like,
the same rankings too. I think Dragon Ball was like number 4 or something like that.
yeah,
So,
like people literally on the pages that we're on, people are like, oh yeah, haha, it's a kids show, haha. And I'm like,
haters, bro.
yeah, it's a kids. Did you, first of all, how old are you? Because this came out in 2001. You were a kid when you were watching this, right? It's a kid show. My son wakes up every morning before I go to work and puts Naruto on TV, which I'm happy about, by the way.
Hey, congrats.
But literally, he has Naruto Crocs. Like, he likes Naruto without me even like putting him into it. But anyways, it is a kid show. No shit. So being the most popular is a good thing. Like, that's like Attack on Titan is the most popular kid show. Like, that's where you got to start questioning what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, at that point, now we need to have a whole cooking conversation.
Yeah,
I
like,
wonder if they consider like JJK a kid's show as well, because JJK gets pretty graphic as well. Shit, Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War.
they have different levels in the cinematic, like the Cinemas Guild for rankings of certain shows and movies and stuff. This would be, I think JJK would be on the more TV 14 level. So like they have like, obviously they have G, PG, PG 13, but they have like shows that are like TV 14.
Yeah.
Like it's the same as like PG 13. So I think it'd be like probably be like a PG 13 kind of
More
deal,
like
which
for teenagers.
technically kids, but not like
Yeah,
kids,
no,
you know?
this is for teenagers versus for actual
Like-
children. Because
like
children
6,
can
10 years old.
actually watch Naruto, especially part 1. They can watch
Yeah.
Naruto and not feel like they just ruined their whole childhood.
I literally
watched the end
woke
of
up.
Naruto and feel like I ruined my whole childhood.
Okay, all right.
I got
Well,
a little
literally-
bit of news though.
Go ahead.
So I'm still on the same conversation of Naruto, even though you wouldn't agree with me. You know about the whole Naruto's coming back and everything, right? Well, Boruto's coming back.
Yeah.
But they
I was about
did
to
make
say.
the decision that Boruto is going to be seasonal now. And of course, people were complaining, oh, why is it going to be seasonal? To be honest, because Bleach is going to be taking up most of the money and all of the time, all of the art, all of the time of the actual producers, that they can't make a freaking all year round continuing series anymore. Honestly, if One Piece is going to do the same thing when they go over to Will's studio, but if One Piece became seasonal, I would be happy. Why? Because you're going to get better content, better animation.
They have more time to put into
and
it.
less fucking filler. People should be happy that Boruto is actually going to be on a seasonal basis,
Because
less filler,
what
better
these
animation, better
isekais,
story.
you know what these isekais that are coming out seasonally don't have? Filler.
I mean,
Filler.
some of the episodes be feeling like filler when they.
But that's just like let's go shopping before we all die. But that's
before we die, let's have a spa date. Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But whatever. No, I don't care. I don't give a shit about Boruto.
Good news with Boruto. You gotta give a shit about Boruto, bro. Himawari just got another power up. Hey,
I don't give a fuck about that.
It's about to get lit fire. It's about to get
Fuck
lit.
about none of that.
Let's get into the tier list, bro.
None that.
Boruto fans get that get thrown again.
Let's get motherfuckers hating professionally.
Oh,
all right. So, like I said, we're doing that. All right, so let's get into our summer 2024 mid-season review. Again, we only have about 10, so this will be a little quicker than usual, but I gotta say, this season's been a banger. And we're gonna start off, I usually put the banger like at the end, but I'm gonna put it at the beginning. The first one we're gonna talk about is Re-Monster, and I know you agree with me. Do uh-oh. Let me get my piece.
It's not that I don't agree with you. Go ahead and get your piece, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay. So, Remonster, Remonster is a great anime. I think it's fantastic. I will say, at first, I was hella confused because they do this thing, and this is what people have hated about it, what I've seen. They do this thing where every episode, every minute, every second of the show, the next day is day one. Like, they do this animation where it's like, and it's like a black screen, and it says day one, day two, day three, and then sometimes it'll jump. It'll be like day 40, day 59, you know? It was kind of annoying, but I got over it fast.
Yeah.
I got over it pretty quick. I was like, are they gonna continue to do this?
Yeah, right.
And then I was just like, and then I was like, oh, they are. Okay, well, whatever. Let me move past that and just enjoy the show for what it is. I think it's masterfully done. It's very simple, and I like that. It's op here, op there. I level up. My friend levels up. They level up. Op there, op there. They got some etchiness in it. You know what I'm saying? My boy clapping them cheeks. But it's essentially about a young goblin, a young man who is reincarnated into being a young goblin. He was born as a goblin with a bunch of other goblin little babies around him, and he is going through the motions of leveling himself up to a hobgoblin, to an ogre, to, you know, so on and so forth. He is essentially your stereotypical super broken trope character MC. That's what it is. Which I have to make a statement. This season is full of broken fucking characters. There's not a single one of them that ain't broken. And the last show I watched last night before we did this is personally confirmed planetary. Planetary? Did I say that right? Yeah, planetary. Yeah, level of strength.
Remonster?
No. The show I watched last night.
Oh, okay,
we'll get to. No, the show I watched last night. Anyways, but I think the show is pretty good. I like it. There's a lot of hate out there right now for some Stockholm syndrome-y things with the human girls that they decided they didn't want to leave, even though he's been like with any show in Goblins, you know what happens. The Goblins do to human women. He stopped that whole nonsense. And they decided to stay with him instead of going back to their families for some reason. And he clapping everybody's cheeks, which consensually.
There was multiple round of applause.
Yeah, but consensually, kind of, ish.
We'll talk about it. Yeah, go ahead, finish.
Do you want me to? Should I?
So you want me to go ahead?
Let me. I'll explain it. I'll explain it. So he uses sex as a way to soften their minds, and not necessarily in a like come here and like no. It's more so like, oh, they like love him, like they're all over him and stuff like that. Most of the time it's usually the goblin girls, but also the human girls. They're all over him, and then just like, oh, please, we want to do this. He's like, no, we can't do this. We're like, please, we want to do it. No, we can't do this. He's like, well, I need to go change their minds. And then he puts them in the room, closes the curtain, and it's like, and he beating cheeks. And then he changes their mind. So it's like he's using it as a tactic to change their minds, but it's not necessarily not consensual. It's just not like he's like, hey, you want to do it? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. It's more so like, oh, we're going.
One instance.
Did I forget one? Which one?
So I don't know if you watched the latest episode.
I did not. I'm like an episode behind.
There's like episode 2. So yeah, there's one. He ends up capturing like a human general, and she says no, and he takes it anyway. I like the show. We're gonna say that. I like the show. Okay. I understand people's qualms with it. The whole Stockholm syndrome. It's real. It's real. He does come in with the high moral ground. Of course, we're not going to grape these women anymore. We're not just going to grape everyone. But then it seems like, okay, so you just kept everyone for yourself. I'm comparing this show to Reincarnated as a Slime. Rimuru, even though he's the demon lord, he's a good guy. Yeah. This man is not a good guy. He is he's villain. Really, he's the villain of this fucking story.
But he's like a sheep
at the thousands.
or not sheep in wolf's clothing. What is it? Wolf in sheep's
A
clothing.
wolf in
Jesus.
sheep's clothing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Like
he's a
he's
good
not
guy.
bad.
Yeah, he's not a
He just
bad
does what he
guy,
wants.
but he's the villain of this
Yeah,
story. He
yeah.
kills hundreds, I'm not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of humans. He eats everything. Like the fact
Everything.
that his power, which he is I think is actually pretty cool because he had this power in
Like
his
gluttony.
previous life. And
Yeah.
he brought it into this life, and
Which
that's why
is a
he's
cool trope. Yeah.
stronger than other goblins. But he kills everything. He takes over whatever he wants. He kidnaps. Like I'm pretty sure you got to the episode where they first met the elves, and he like
Yeah.
ends up taking them in, and then he kills the guys, and then he makes the comment like, "Oh, I purposely told my goblins to lose against the females
Yeah.
because he wanted to keep the goblin females." This guy's the villain of the story, and I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's an anime. It's a cool thing for an anime, but comparing him to Rimuru.
Maybe.
Rimuru's the shit.
If we're comparing it to Slime, then it's definitely not S tier. But this is something that I really enjoy, and I'm gonna
Definitely
continue watching. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a low S to me, like very low, but not. I wouldn't say an A because there would have to be something that I don't like about it. And so far, besides, like, don't get me wrong, like when an anime does the whole like, what do they call it? Lolly thing. They do the whole lolly thing, or they do this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, morally, I know that's not okay. But if the show is good, it's like whatever. Like how people complain about Mushoku Tensei, how he's technically a 40-year-old man in a body that's doing it with, kids, but he's a kid now. It's like I get it, but like it's still a good show. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't classify to me as something that's bad with this show. You know what I'm saying?
I even had the
like,
same conversation.
You can't get away with murder.
He's an adult, and he's only like how some of like reincarnated Mushoku Tensei, how he was adult and then he turns to a kid and he has these fantasies about other women his age as a kid.
Yeah.
But obviously they're not 18 and up as his 40-year-old mind should be. In this story, he's only smashing adult women or adult goblins. So I appreciate that. So like you said, nothing has happened that made me say I don't like this show, but I can see people's complaints. But there are some people who just have really bad takes about it that just convinces me you didn't watch the show. You just watched somebody else's opinion on the show. So I agree. I will give it a low S, teetering on the edge of A. But where it is currently, and because I watched the newest episode just today, it's moving somewhere really good, and I think it's going to definitely be at a S by the end of the season.
Yeah, no, I get you. All right, cool. Low S. All right, next one is the Aristocrat.
Aristocrat. So I started this one obviously before my trip, and then I caught up when I got back. It's a good story. I am, again, like we talked about before, I'm comparing it to other animes of the kind where it's not a fighting story. It's more of I can't remember the other anime name, but dude reincarnated, or he was summoned into the world, and he had a skill that allowed him to basically I think it was like how I raised a nation out of debt, something like that. So I'm comparing it to animes like that. This is an A. It's not to that level yet. So the whole story is, again, the kid was the guy was reincarnated. He was never a adult. I think he was like 16 years old when he died anyway. Yeah. Reincarnated into a new world. And in this world, he has the power of the appraisal skill. And as we know, the appraisal skill can be hella broken. Him at being the firstborn son of the mayor of this small little village, kingdom, whatever you want to call it, he uses a skill to find people who have high stats, intelligence, ambition, swordsmanship, whatever the stats are, to basically make their small nation amazing. And where it's going is pretty good. He's only found like 3 people, but of those 3 people, one ended up being the most powerful mage ever. One ended up being like a super powerful, and he's like a black guy too. So if you haven't even seen this one, like he's discriminated because he's a black guy, and he's like, I don't care. You have high stats. I'm going to bring you into my family. So that was pretty awesome of him. And then another kid who's apparently really intelligent that he brought into the fold. So with these people, they've made their little town so powerful and important to the whole kingdom as a whole.
Nice.
where they are now, he's now become the leader. Still a kid. I think he's like 12 or 13 years old, but his father has passed away. He's now become the leader. So I think this is the point where it's really going to shine. But where it is right now is sitting as an A because he isn't where he needs to be. He's surrounding himself with powerful people, but him. And honestly, because of the fact that he's still a bit lackluster in his own skills, he's partly at fault for his father's passing. So hopefully after this point, it's going to keep on ramping up and he's going to get to the point where he needs to be by the end of the season or by the end of the story.
I got you. Okay. All right. I know there's like the Aristocrats Otherworldly Adventure, and then there's like my super broken appraisal skill has given me this. There's so many of those like appraisal / aristocrat ones. I'm not really like big into those. I will say that with a few of the animes that we're going to talk about next, I wouldn't have watched these if my wife wouldn't have watched these. We made a deal this season that we would watch all the new animes together, but we would also watch the ones that she would want to watch, the cutesy ones, maybe the rom-coms, things like that. And I was surprisingly
that's how it starts.
Surprised. I was surprisingly surprised of how good they were. So she's not. I don't know if she's seen any of the Aristocrat ones, but I'm sure it will be surprising because I've been surprised by some of these. But the next one we have coming up is the New Gate. The New Gate's going for a B. So the New Gate is great value Sword Art Online. And it's not bad, but it's great value SAO, and it bothers me from how cringe. It's like similarly cringy, if that's even how you put those two words together, towards SAO. So like, it's still a good show, but how much they try to reproduce SAO in the show is super cringe, is what I'm trying to say. This show is essentially about a kid who was in a video game that was locked down. You could not log out. You died. If you died in the video game, you died in real life. SAO. He, black coat, you see the picture, in a black coat with a sword, by himself, defeats the dungeon boss. Like the main boss that unlocks the game for everybody, like an idiot, which I guess not an idiot for him, but like whatever, like an idiot, he waits to see every single person in the whole world is finally able to log out. The minute he tries to log out, his logout screen disappears again, and he's like, what the fuck? Am I going to be stuck here for the rest of my life when this world disintegrates? And then a door behind him opens up, and he walks through that door, passes out, wakes up, and he's in a field, and he's like, okay, so I'm still not back home. And then he pulls up his screen and he's like, oh, so I'm still in the game. Where the fuck are, like, I can't talk to him, none of my friends are online, I still can't log out, so on and so forth. And so he starts walking around and he starts going to different shops, realizing like where everything's at. He's like, hey, take me home. He takes his little, like, it's like, I guess it's a fast travel mechanic, but it literally just shows him the route to go home. He still has to like run there. And while at the house, there's an apothecary there, and the apothecary is holding an elf, and the elf girl's there, and she is essentially like, how do I say this? She's like cursed or whatever, but she brings up the name of a girl who he used to know, and it was his in-game companion, his NPC in the game that he was just in a second ago. And he's like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, that's weird. Like, yeah, I'll wait till she gets back. He does a lot of broken shit. Again, another broken-ass character, like broken as fuck, right? And he essentially meets up with her again. I'm not going to give the full story, but he meets up with her again. She looks just like Asuna from Alfhelm Online, and comes to find out this is the video game, but 500 years in the future, and the NPCs now have lives. Yeah. So kind of like Alicization Underworld for SAO, how those NPCs were actually living creatures.
Damn, that's crazy.
So
I didn't even put that together.
So he goes to that world. Did you watch Ninja?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Yeah,
I didn't even. put the Alicization part
Yeah,
together. Damn.
where
Okay.
the NPCs now are alive, and he tells the girl, "I'm still gonna try to go back home," but she's like, "I'll be with you forever." They love each other, so on and so forth, obviously. But it's to me, it's just super cringy of how much they're trying to do an SAO like side story. You know what I'm saying? Um, guess who's her favorite anime this fucking season though? Of course,
The new
the new
gate.
gate. You know, which is like you could take it one way or the other. If she really loves SAO, then she should really hate this, or she'd really love it because it's like SAO. But to me, I'm like, they're trying too hard with the SAO tropes. You know what I'm saying? They're really trying too hard with it. Again, he's a broken ass fucking character, and it is what it is. But like, we'll continue it because she'll want to watch it. So, but to me, it's a B. It's not anything great. It's not SAO, but it's not bad. Like, it's something I will still watch because, like I said, a lot of these shows surprise me these days. The New Gate was something I was gonna watch anyways. But I thought it was gonna be another like non-fighting kind of nonsense, just kind of like, oh, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. But it's like an isekai within an isekai in a video game. So. It's a B to me, honestly. I didn't think you watched it. I just put it in B. So
Oh yeah,
whatever you want to put it.
I've watched it. I agree, especially when you add on a little bit more context. It does a lot of taking tropes from other shows, and it's not only Sword Art Online. I mean, I guess no, that would be Sword Art Online too. How he had the little fairy girl, and that was like his daughter. In the New Gate, he has a companion that he meets, and then she ends up turning into a little girl. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess we are, yeah,
Mila? No.
I can't remember her name,
It's like
but
Mia or something.
it's a good show. I'm not.
Yeah.
A B doesn't mean that it's a bad show, but
No,
it's
absolutely not.
nothing spectacular about it that makes me say, "Oh,
Absolutely
I
not.
really need to watch the newest episode of this." I just watched
Yeah.
it because the newest episode came out, so
Yeah.
I'll give it a B. I mean, it could even be a high B, and it can have potential to be even better. But from what I saw so far in the story, where are we going next with this? Like, are we just gonna go visiting all of our old friends? Because that's exactly what he's doing right now. I'm about to go visit another friend. So
I will say at one point when we were watching the show, he did something like super broken. I think he did the little spell casting thing with her to kill that giant that giant lich in the field or whatever. There was a point where me and her watched all these new shows, all of them, and we were just like, why are these characters so fucking like? Even I was shocked about how many broken characters were in this season. Like we're just like holy fuck, like did he just really fucking do that? Like it was mind-blowing how broken some of these characters are in
it was
this
pretty
show.
cool when he did limit release.
Exactly, he's like a damn super saiyan motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like I don't know, but a B is a B, so it's not a C, so it's good. It's mid.
It's a mid show.
It's a mid
I mean, we
show.
need to start teaching people what the fuck mid means. People calling things like Naruto mid. This is mid. Naruto's not mid. Just because you didn't like it doesn't make it means it's mid.
No.
Mid means
So,
like it's not super good, but it's not
is
bad.
average.
It's average.
Mid is average. Mid is average. Like it's alright. It's
just right,
like
it's right above
it's like
the
the dude eating chicken in his, or no, it's the chicken biscuit in his car when he's like, it's all right. Like
it's all right. Oh
that
shit.
dude. But all right, God's Game We Play.
Oh, I thought this was No Game No Life. God's Game We Play is No Game No Life. It's
an A.
It's decent.
I love.
It's decent. I would say it's a B. It is a B. Quite honestly, it is not fair to it because I haven't fully caught up from. I think I've watched the first 4 episodes so far before I went on my trip.
Good enough for mid-season.
The whole premise of it is the gods decided one day that we want human race to play games. And everyone in the world, not everyone plays the games, but everyone in the world, there's like certain people who are like the disciples or chosen ones who are able to play these games. And if you play the games and you win the games, then you win some type of prize, whatever it is. And you legitimately play against gods. So the main character, the guy, dark hair, obviously, and the red haired girl, we end up finding out she is a god, but she I guess she got like banished or locked up or fell asleep. I can't remember exactly what happened, but she's
So Broomhild.
woken up years, hundreds of years later, and she says, "I want to play the games too. I'm going to help this
The
human
humans.
who's like
Yeah.
the once again the main character. He's like one of the best players in the whole world, and she's like, I want to help these humans win the game." Alice in Borderland. Have you watched Alice in Borderland yet? So imagine Alice in Borderland, but one of them is a god. She's one of the main villains.
Alice
of
in
the
Borderland's
story.
a good fucking show.
So
they die. It's like they get fucked up and die and shit.
I mean, they don't die. They can die in the game, but when they die in the game, they'll just be sent back to the real world. But if they lose
stupid.
a certain amount of times, then they're done. So you can only lose a game of a certain amount of time. So the whole point is we need somebody who's strong enough or smart enough, strategic enough in order to win the games. But if too many of us lose the games, it decreases the chance that we can actually win God's game. And there's multiple games. Same thing at Alice in Borderland, how they had like the King, Queen, Jack. Like there's multiple games that you can go to. This main character, when we first meet him, he's like won 3 games already of the 7 that you have to win. So it's a good premise. Again, I may be unfair to it because I haven't fully caught up. Maybe it's like gotten better, but from just that synopsis so far, it was like, okay, what are we going to do with this? Like, what do you? I would be interested to find out, what do you win, or what happens if no one ever wins?
If no one wins, do they wipe the human race or something?
If that was like they're going to wipe the human race,
Records of Ragnarok type shit
like that. Then I'm like, damn, this is actually pretty good then. But if it's like, oh, if you don't win, then you just don't get your wish.
Here's a golden spoon. Have fun.
Thanks. So it's good.
That's what I was saying. Like them not dying. I'm like, this doesn't sound like a god's like playing with humans type of thing. Because usually,
like Alice in Borderland all the way, I'll be like, hell yeah. But
usually when the gods like play with the humans, when they're having their fun with the humans, like niggas die. Like niggas are dying all over the place. Like you don't. Oh, you lost? Yeah. Like you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely lighthearted. So I'm gonna give it a B. It can be better, or it can get worse. So let's see.
All right. This next one is the first of the few that actually really surprised me this season. So it's called Chillin' in Another World with My Level 2 Super Cheat Skill. This one is actually... So one thing I'm also surprised about this season is how many characters come from an already magical world into another magical world.
I forgot.
You know what I'm saying? And it's really like, I think that they're doing this shit on purpose. But anyways, it's about this young man. He goes into another world. He essentially is summoned to be a hero from, he already has like, so where he's from, where like demi-humans are enslaved, he's a merchant, like he's, you know, like he's in a magical world. He can use like basic spells or whatever, but he's summoned to another world to be a hero. They summon like, two heroes? Yeah, they summon like 2 heroes, and they essentially have them on this platform, and they say, we're going to assess your skills, and you'll be the hero, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if you have a divine enchantment from a god or something like that. And they assess his skills, and they're just like, he has nothing. He's an average human. And which we all know, like, no, he's not. You know what I'm saying? We've been watching anime long enough to be like, okay, yeah, can we get on to the part where we find out he's broken? Which was a lot more than I thought. And he's like, all right, well, guys, can you send me back? They're like, nah, we can't fucking send you back, fam. Go, you're banished to these woods.
Good luck. You said that nigga to die.
By the way, these woods have thousands of demons in them, so have fun. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, okay, sure. And he goes to the woods. And
I didn't even tell him that, dude. When he was in the carriage,
lizard dude, lizard dude told him.
Yeah, they told him. He was like, "Oh."
So he was like, "Yeah, if you want to live, I suggest you run." And he's like, "Nigga, what? Like, okay, you know, sure or whatever." And this is when you find out how fucking broken he is. Oh my god! Like he gets to the little woods. He gets a care package from the king or whatever. Has all this stuff in it, and he's just like, all right, so what should I do next? And he's like, I guess I'll go into the woods. And then the chick's like, his little automated AI companion is like, I wouldn't go in there. There's a miasma in there. And he's like, oh, like demon mobs? Yeah, it kills humans, so on and so forth. I suggest you use Purify. And he's like, oh no, sorry. First he kills the slimes, levels up to level 2.
Yeah.
And then there's this like, oh, all these skills are now available to you. And then he's like, cool, all right, well, I'll go into the woods, see what's what. And then the thing's like, I suggest you use Purify. And he's like, I can use Purify? Yes, you can. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Purify. And then literally the whole forest, whole woods Purify. And it's like, you have leveled up, and it spams like level up.
He turned it off. He said, I don't want to hear that anymore.
I'm literally, me and her sitting here like, what the fuck? And he's just like, it's like, you're finally done? He's like, yes, would you like to turn off? He's like, turn off the notifications for leveling up, please. Like, I don't need to, like, this is like a group chat blowing up. Like, I don't want to hear all this shit. And then find out he's level 362 when the other hero was, what, level 99 or some shit when he showed up and made him like, you're going to be the hero of the kingdom, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, what is this weird symbol on my skills? It's the fucking infinity symbol. I'm like... like on strength,
still knows.
strength, speed, stamina, intelligence, luck, like all the MMORPG skills. He's like, this is a weird symbol, and the camera pans. Me and my wife both go, that's the infinity symbol. Like it's infinite. And he's like, oh, how much magic did I use doing that? And they're like, oh, only a quarter. And he's like, how much? I must not have that much magic. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, yo, shut up, bro, shut up.
Does he ever realize that he's OP? Because how far I got, I think
no,
like
so far he knows that he is strong, but he's still under the impression that he can't fight. So when so we get to a point where he ends up trying to help this little girl, which is obviously turns out to be Fenris, you know what I'm saying? A demon wolf. She ends up falling in love with him, which I'm glad he's actually, even though he said we'll pretend to be husband and wife, he's actually really close to her.
They start actually being husband and wife.
Forming a relationship, and I appreciate that. But he ends up getting with this girl. He subdues her. He beats her gravity magic. He uses a gravity spell, subdues her, and you know, she ends up like, I'll serve you, master, this and that. He's like, I ain't about all that slave shit. Like, I come from a world where slavery is bad. Slavery is not bad. Slavery is rampant, and I don't like any of that. You know, she's like, I gotta serve you until I die, blah, blah, blah. Turns out being as like, she's like, well, we need to pretend to be husband and wife so people don't know who you actually are. Then he ends up training these girls who he saves multiple times, and these girls have tried to kill that Fenris, but he transports them. But the last fighting scene I saw, it was like, fuck, like, I know I'm strong, but like, I don't throw hands. Like, I'm not like that. You know, I may have beaten her, but like, I don't know. But then, well, no, sorry, that was the second to last fight. Then the last fight, he fights that cat. He fights the cat demon. I don't know if you've seen that yet. He fights a cat demon who ends up finding out that the Fenris, who is one of the demon lord's right-hand men, she was like, let's go outside and spar. You can see the cockiness in his face. So I think he kind of knows, like, at this point, he knows, like, because, and I called it too, when she threw those spells at him, before he did it, I was like, and he was like, he fucking snapped up in the air, and she's like, he disappeared my spells, meow, you know, and then constrained her with some tight ropes. Yeah.
Say it slowly.
He said crucifixion. She said, yeah. You know, but for me, this show, I really like this show. I want to give it like a high A, but I don't know if it's an S yet because it hasn't gone anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no clear plot, so I don't know if I want to give it an S because we're not. I know. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a demon lord. I know there's a demon army. And I've figured eventually they're going to clash. But how many times have we seen that? You know what I'm saying? So is there a little bit more? Maybe that's me being greedy. But like, I know we're going to Demon Lord territory. But because he stood up last episode, I saw he stood up. He's like, maybe I need to go find out what this is all about. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's going to be quick. Because if it's a quick encounter and it's over, what else are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's a high A. I don't know about you. To me, it's a high A.
I think I'm going to give it a high A because it did something that I usually don't see in these shows, in which he already understood that how powerful he was,
Yeah.
it could cause an issue with nations. Like I think someone like
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
that to him, so he
Hmm.
decides that I'm not gonna deal with any of this bullshit, and he took him and the girls away. Like he took
Yeah.
the whole where they live and they just put it in a new location. I thought that was pretty good. So I'm
I might
interested.
I might have not seen that
Oh,
then.
you probably haven't gotten
What
that
you
far
talking
yet.
about the cottage where they were stationed to kill the werebears or whatever? They moved from that cottage to
Like
another
he
location.
made it like move to a different location. So I don't know
Yeah,
where
I
they're
haven't
gonna
seen
go
that. I haven't
after
seen that
that.
yet.
So
Okay.
I'll give it an A. I thought it was pretty good. I was definitely surprised by it. Like I
So
understood it was called
it's
level 2
giving
cheat
harem.
skills. So
I think
I'm
because
not going to minus points because of harem. At this
well
point, we
no,
just need to accept that's what anime is today.
I think they call it level 2 cheat skill because when he used purify and killed those, but which I didn't even fucking mention. The reason why he leveled up to 362 is because he killed the entire legion of monsters that were in those
Yeah,
woods. Like he literally wiped them all
like
out.
an army that was in
It was
there.
a whole army, and it was Fenris's brother was the leader of that army. That's why he leveled up so much. But it was level 2 cheat skill because um, when he used Purify, he was level 2, and that's what made him go to infinity. So his cheat skill was that Purify skill. But now he's not level 2 anymore. So it's like, but that pure, but
Yeah.
it is hair. It is hair me.
So
It
maybe the
is. If he
purify wasn't a
stays,
cheat skill. Yeah.
if he stays with them though, like you said he is, then that's a harem. It's a whole
And
harem.
it is what it is, but no,
Yeah.
it's good from what I saw so far. I can give it an A. If I wouldn't put it at a high A, so far, I would probably put it at like a low A and probably teetering towards B,
Okay.
only
I'm,
because
I'm high A for sure.
it has like those same tropes, and I'm wondering if
Yeah.
they're going to make their own thing with it. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It has the same like
it's
I'm
common
super
tropes,
strong,
but
demon
are you
lord.
going to take it to the next
Yeah.
level? Because again, remember the one show where they were doing like the dungeon, like every time they kill a monster, they get like radishes and shit like that. That's kind
Yeah,
of what
yeah.
made the show stupid. But he
Yeah.
had the skill, like once he like leveled up, or he couldn't level up, but he had the ability to like shoot stuff and like eat the whatever. No,
Yeah.
what was he would kill it and he would be able to take whatever drop items it was and made himself
Yeah.
more powerful when he took
Yeah.
in the drop items.
I think I
So
remember what you're talking about.
it's better than that. I
Yeah.
would say it's definitely better than that. So I would definitely give it
Unfortunately, I compare Adventure Guild animes to other Adventure Guild animes because I love adventure. That's literally my favorite genre of anime. But to me, this is 100% a high A because I was thoroughly enjoying. And I think it was me though. It was one of these like I'm not gonna enjoy this because it looks like a rom-com type shit.
A.
But because it surprised me, I wasn't super hyped for this, so I kind of had low expectations. So
Yeah.
it raised the bar when I actually watched it. So, but yeah. This next one.
Take it away.
This is reincarnated as the seventh prince. Again, another anime where he was in the magical world and got transported to another magical world. This one is about a young man. It's a man. It's a boy. It's a whole boy. Was reincarnated from the world where he was burnt alive and liked it for some reason, and went to another world and was reincarnated as a seventh prince of a king. Remember when he got burnt alive? He's like,
no,
"Yeah,
no,
this
I
feels
remember.
fantastic.
I remember.
This feels fantastic." I was like, "Bro, pause." Anyways, but he reincarnated as a little baby as the seventh prince of the kings and the king and queen of that nation. Again, another super broken. This is the one that for me, you can debate me, confirmed planetary. So the reason why I say that, and we'll get to that in a second, but this is about young. He was reincarnated as seventh prince, and he's obsessed with magic. Now this show is getting the hate that I've seen, and I understand it because one, he looks like a girl. Two, he has booty shorts on. He's like what 10 maybe? I think he's like 10 years old. He has like these booty shorts on. He has like this weird. I'm gonna say this. Don't clip me and make this famous. He has this weird, like, and she called it before I did. My wife did. He has this weird, like, vag thigh gap. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, send him in. We fucking got him.
Thigh
We
gap.
fucking got him. No, but he has this weird thigh gap, and I made this. I said this to you earlier before we started recording. it has this sexual tone to it that I don't like because he's a child.
Mm.
And it's about whenever he's super obsessed with magic or he's trying to get his way, it's just like this whole like, like sexy, like cutesy, sexy lolly thing. And I'm like, bro, this is supposed to be a 10-year-old boy that's wearing like, it's like a slutty little girl.
Bro,
and I don't like that.
Be real with you. Naruto did the same shit though.
Hmm?
Naruto did the same
You
shit.
talking about,
10
come on,
years
sexy
old.
jutsu?
Yeah, to get his
But
weight.
yeah, true. In its own way. In its own way, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But this show, it's a constant, like, the kid not turning into an adult and doing it, but like, it has this and like showing the leg up. And I'm like, this is a 10-year-old boy that one looks like a slutty little girl. Like, this is not,
Your words.
I don't like, I'm sorry. It's true.
Like
I don't, I don't like it for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I said earlier, whenever they do weird shit, because Japan can get away with murder, I don't consider that something bad for the show. But for this, it started like edging towards that bad. But I will say, now the positive about this show, I love the power system. Yeah. I love how smart he is. I love how he can literally just create create anything from nothing. How he's using like 100 different spell manipulations and making his own language to create spells. And that brings us to where I think he's planetary is when he did that first like 100 spell thing and he shot it into the air and literally created a hole in the fucking atmosphere and literally shot it into space.
Confirmed.
That to me, if he shot that at a planet, I feel like it would devastate a planet.
I mean, it would definitely destroy a moon, so I could definitely see it destroying a planet.
At least. But the fighting is great. I think the animation for the fighting when he was fighting the demon in the library, fucking fantastic.
Fucking tragic, dude. Why is it so great? And then you got this part. Bro, I actually saw somebody trying to defend it. Just the whole like outfit and his mannerisms. Basically because his father or parents, I can't remember if he has a mom and dad or just a father, they didn't give him a lot of attention like personally, so he was only raised by his maids.
All the women around him?
Yeah, the women around him raised
that
him
was
and dressed him and everything.
And another thing, bro.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
When they were in the fucking when they were in the hot spring with all those girls, and those girls were like, he's gonna sleep with me. I'm like, this is a kid. This is a whole kid.
Hey, bro,
like, are you fucking kidding me?
You know the vibes.
I was like, bro, but
he's a
if
prince.
It was just, but here's the thing, if it was just that,
real world, he's a prince. In our world, he's
10
a
years
prince.
old.
He's a prince. They are getting in.
That nobody thinks he will aspire to be a king because he's the 7th prince.
But he's still a prince.
I will say I do appreciate that his big brother does know how fucking OP he is. He's just not saying anything. His big brother's like, all right, little nigga, I know what you up to. You know what I'm saying? Like
he let him, like he purposely brought him along and then let him go to his own devices because he knew he was about to do some shit. So
yeah, he was like, hey, you can hang out here and train for a bit. And then he smiled as he walked away. I'm like, yeah, this nigga. He's like, I need you to have some space because when you were born, you almost killed everybody in the room. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like this motherfucker's broken. But I love this power scaling. I love the power system. I love the fighting. The animation is great. Just the magic in itself is not that like stupid trope magic where they're just like, oh, magic circle, pew. It's like magic circle, magic, just like starts stacking, and he fucking shoots a Death Star laser beam into the fucking sky. And I'm like, this shit is great, but this like whole sexual innuendo with a 10-year-old boy and these maids that like love him is fucking weird. And then he turns into an actual like grown up does like transformation jutsu, turns into a grown up for that girl, that martial artist, and then like it's weird. It's like I want to watch the show because I enjoy the fighting, I enjoy the magic. I think it's going somewhere. 100% I can see a plot forming. But I'm like, bro,
change your clothes. Give me a time skip. Just give me a fucking time skip like until he's like 16 years old.
Danger Close is right. Danger Close, bro. Like to me, like it's so hard to give this a score.
I knew you were struggling with the score.
It's so hard because I want to put it at a B because of this nastiness. But if this was any other show and they took that out, oh my god, this show would be great. It'd be an S, bro.
It would be like third favorite show of the season.
100% because of how fucking gangster it is. Like honestly, and to be fair, this show did surprise me as well, but it surprised me in the good and bad. Like I knew it was like a little like the outfit was a little fucking weird, and I was like, whatever, they're not gonna play on that, but they did, and I'm like,
they do. It's their
I'm
thing.
like, but it surprised me because it's like that whole reincarnated as the seventh prince, you know, like I'm chilling, like I'm just a little kid, and I was like, oh, so it's gonna be kind of like I'm super rich. I'm just
play on that well too.
But like, if it didn't have that weird shit in it, it'd be an S, 100%.
Maybe even it out to an A.
Let's give it an A. I mean, do you agree? I'm gonna give it a little A. I'm gonna give it.
It's hard for me not to give it an S. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It is hard. It is hard. 100%. Pause.
Can we
like?
Can we put it like mid A? Let's put it mid A. Let's be fair for it. Because again, if it was, if you changed his
any
clothes,
other show,
like I saw on Facebook,
just
somebody did a fixed it
they did
type
the shorts.
thing.
They did the shorts thing. Yeah,
if they would have just gave him that, it would easily be an S.
Even then, though, sometimes it's not even like if it was a boy in like normal shorts and he was doing the whole like I'm a cute little child, like please give me access to this. It'd be like it's just a kid doing the kid. But these fucking like booty shorts and him
Daisy
going like
Dukes. He's wearing.
And I'm like, Dukes. Bro, stop, just stop, like because he's with the demon, like when he's talking to the demon and he's like, and I'm like. Yo, what are you doing?
He's a fucking psycho too. I love his
he's an absolute psychopath.
Psycho.
And so I thought,
dude.
he has he has soul manipulation. He can take souls, literally take souls. He can invent his own magic. He can combine thousands. He made one of the most powerful demons like have a seizure because he was combining thousands upon thousands of spells to do simultaneous. He was like, oh, let's try simultaneous casting. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, so I need 2 mouths. Come into my body. Like, oh, you know, and then he fucking had his hand and he's like, okay, let's try it. And then when they tried it, he was like, what the fuck was that? And he was like, oh, I just tried thousands of spells. And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm trying that. He's like, matter of fact, shut up. And then he uses his own mouth and then this mouth.
Let me use
yeah, and then he takes his soul out of his body and then puts his soul into another body, but then takes which that kind of confused me. So he made that doppelganger of himself. He took the demon's soul out, put it into his doppelganger, but then kept the mouth as like a phone. Like it was kind of weird. I don't know, but he has soul manipulation, creation, fucking. He has Death Star laser beams. Like he could fucking fly. Like what is going on? I don't know. It's an A.
S,
I'm not putting it in an S. It's gross. It's gross. It's gross.
Oh my god,
bro, it's gross.
If he could choose 3 superpowers, you know exactly what he's choosing.
He need to choose
he
like
wouldn't even race your mind. He wouldn't care.
Besto genus, so he can get some pants. That's what he needs to choose. Anyways, I'm moving on because I can't. Anyway, so the next one is Mission Yakuzura Family. You take it away.
So Mission Yakuzura Family is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead preliminary put it at an A.
Okay.
Still, it's gonna be lower than Daisy Duke Boy, but it's still an A.
Daisy Duke Boy is diabolical.
So, so the whole point of this story, think Spy Family.
Yeah.
If you like Spy Family, you'll like this show. It's a little bit more I would not like grotesque, but a little bit more hardcore than Spy Family, but at the end of the day, it still gives you the same vibes. The little boy, let's not call him a little boy. The teenager, he's a little boy. Grew up with this girl their whole life, since they were small children, and now they're like seniors in high school. I even think they graduate by the point where I get to. Yeah. And one day he, I don't know the situation, but he ends up finding out that her family is a family of spies. And she's like the head of the family, and how she's the head of the family is all her brothers and sisters, they all have some type of power, some type of quirk. She doesn't have any. So they have to all protect her. That's how you know that she's the head. She's born to it because she doesn't have any powers. So
the person who doesn't have powers becomes the head of the family?
The head of the family. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's something special about them.
It makes sense because the people that are born with powers are born to protect because they have powers. And so you don't need powers if you're the boss because you don't need to do anything because you're, which I would still kind of be butthurt, wouldn't you? I'd be upset.
So, so he remember the brother. I remember we watched the
I know
trailer.
about the
The
show.
brother,
Yeah.
he's like kind of obsessed with her, and his reasoning for being obsessed with her is because when they were younger, she almost died because of him. He failed to truly protect her, and since that moment, he's been overly obsessed with protecting her,
Protecting her. Yeah.
and overly obsessed with her. Period.
Makes
Let's
sense.
be
Makes
honest
sense.
here. So there comes a situation where she has a threat to her life. So the brother decides, you know what? I've allowed you to be around her their whole life, but you can always be an enemy. So I'm just going to kill
Yeah.
you. So it starts off with him trying to kill him, and the rest of the family says, "Hey, if you want to live, because he's going to kill you. If you want to
Yeah.
live, you have to marry her. We have a rule in the family that if you're part of the family, you can't hurt each other. We can't kill each other." So eventually, he agrees to. And this is episode 1, so I'm not ruining anything. Episode 1, he
Yeah.
agrees. They end up getting married, and to get married, all he had to do is put the ring on his finger, and now they're married. So starting from that point, episode 1, he's now part of the family. They're trying to train him to be strong, and they do. Like by episode 2 or 3, he gets stronger, faster, more strategic. He's like
Yeah.
every day, like they do like a 30-day or 45-day process in which he has to just live in their house and deal with all the spy shit that they deal with every day for his training, and he actually does pass it. So
Good.
it's a really good story. So where we are now, now that he's the husband and he's obviously stronger, a little faster, more strategic, he is now the person main in charge of protecting her life. Obviously, they go to school with each other, they're with each other all the time because
That probably don't sit right with bro.
I mean, he has to accept it, so he has
Oh,
to
yeah.
train him in order to protect her life. And it's always these funny situations which he will basically almost let him die to protect her, and then in the end he'll come in and save them both. Like, hey, I had to make sure that you can be able to protect her,
Yeah.
and you were willing to give your life to
He's like
protect her.
he's trolling. He's trolling him.
He throws the fuck
essentially.
out of him. Like he'll
Yeah.
wake him up with a bomb in his house, and he was like, "Oh no, this is just part of your training, bro." Like he trolls him every fucking day because he can't kill him anymore. He can't hurt him anymore.
Yeah.
So he basically just puts him in these situations to scare the shit out of him.
These stressful ass fucking
Exactly.
situations.
So the show is really funny. It's very interesting. Like every episode, it's a new thing. Obviously, he
Yeah.
has to fight these new criminals who are trying to kill his wife. So if you want a family friendly show, this is definitely a family friendly show, and it's very good.
Puts a
as a
bomb in your
family
house.
friendly
Family
show.
friendly.
But me, obviously, I'm not looking for a family. Like Spy Family is a great show for me, but I'm not checking
Yeah.
for Spy Family every season.
Every
To
day,
me,
yeah.
this is an A because it's really good.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh, yeah.
not
Makes
compared to other shows, and like obviously compared to Daisy Duke Boy, it's not that grand. It's just a good watch. I'll say
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
A.
Hey, cool. All right, Sarah might like that, so we might check that out. Next one, Kaiju number 8. I'm gonna put that in an S. That's an S. That's an S for me.
I've taken word for it. I think I watched like 3 episodes so far.
Oh, okay.
Two or three.
Kaiju number 8, it lived up to the hype for me. So Kaiju number 8, if y'all haven't heard, this has been a manga that's been out for a long time. It is essentially the framework for anything kaiju related. Pacific Rim, some of the shows, some of the creatures even in Godzilla, like the new ones, the newer like alpha predators are relative to this. This show is about a man who lives in a world that's full of kaijus, just like any other, like Pacific Rim. However, this show, they don't necessarily have mechs to fight kaijus. They have a kaiju defense force. So the it's the KDF or some shit like that. Yeah, Kaiju Defense Force. The Kaiju Defense Force that fight these monsters. They have specialized suits, like body suits, that give them not superpower-esque type things. That run faster, they're stronger, their suit cauterizes wounds. So like if you get your arm cut off, it'll cauterize your wounds. It's like a super-powered suit. Where's my super suit? It's over there. But they have these specialized suits and weapons to fight these kaiju. They don't necessarily, they don't have mechs. Well, our main character actually works for the KDF, but he's in sanitation. He's part of cleanup crew. We come find out his backstory. The main leader of the KDF, the Kaiju Defense Force, is a girl who they used to be best friends when they were kids. And they both said that they are going to join the KDF together. They're going to kill and fight kaijus together because of all the family and friend that were killed during a kaiju attack when they were like 5. And which 5-year-olds got so much freedom in Japan. It was up on a hill with nobody around by themselves. I was like, bro, I would never let my 6-year-old go out on no hill by. Anyways,
In a
but
war-torn world, people
yeah,
do shit like that.
they're doing whatever the fuck they want. But in the future, comes to find out, he failed his KDF exam, and he fails it every year. This man is like what 32? He's 32, right? I think. But he's like 32. He keeps failing it. He passes the first part. He keeps failing the second part. But she ends up passing the first go, and now she's the OP character. She's the OP leader of the defense force. She's super strong, super fast, and they don't talk no more. Like she obviously, like she said, I want to blow up and act like I don't know nobody. Like that's what she did. I'm like, first of all, which at first I was like, she a whole bitch for that. But he's on cleanup crew and he keeps trying. He ends up meeting a young man that joins the cleanup crew with him, and they kind of form this kind of bond, this kind of friendship. It's kind of a rookie. He wants to join the KDF as well, and he motivates him to essentially what's it called? Retake the test. He wasn't going to take it because the age cutoff, they were cutting it off. This was his last time to ever take it, and he wasn't going to take it, but he decided I'll take it one more time. Passes the first round. I'm sorry. He passes the first round, and they end up at the end of the cleanup it's them two left. They both end up getting attacked by a kaiju, and they're fighting it off, trying to fight it off as much as they can, as much as possibly as they can. And then she comes in, saves the day. They're both obviously broken, battered, fucked up, whatever. They end up going to the hospital. I didn't understand this part until I watched further into it. I don't know if you want me to ruin it a little. I'm kind of wave topping everything. I'm not really like going over like the intricacies of it. But yeah, so well, not necessarily this part, but why I didn't understand this part until later. But they end up going to the hospital. They're talking about, yeah, I'm gonna take the second test. We're gonna pass it. This and that. And while they're talking, this like bug kaiju is in front of him, and it's like, found you. And he's like, what the fuck? And it's like, and I'm like, hey, yo, it kind of goes in his mouth, no pause, literally does. And he's like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay, sir? Like his little friend. And then he's like sitting there, and he looks like that picture. He looks like a fucking gangster ass motherfucking kaiju, like human sized kaiju with fucking claws and teeth and everything. And this show is absolutely fucking funny. This show is hilarious. This show is really fucking funny. And he's just like, oh my god, oh my god, what are you screaming? Why are you screaming? And he's like, they're screaming at each other. And then the old man is in the doorway like, and he picks up the phone. He's like, yeah, they're calling the KDF. We need to leave. And he's like, where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? And he's like, let's go out the window. And he grabs the window and shears the whole side of the building off. He's like, I didn't know I could do that. And then they jump out the window. And then as they're leaving, as the KDF is coming to find them, because KDF found out that there's a kaiju at the hospital, another kaiju starts attacking the city. Find out that the dude's like, I need to leave. It's like, kaiju's attacking. KDF will deal with it. We need to just disappear because they're going to come kill you. He's like, okay. And then so this little girl and mom are about to die. He shows up. He's like, I can't just let these people die. Like, I feel like I have a ability to save them, so let me try. Bro, One Punch Man, this fucking kaiju, like with this he has this lightning, electricity shit that comes off his body. One Punch Man's this whole fucking kaiju, and it becomes news. So on and so forth. We move a little ahead. He goes back to sanitation cleanup.
He learns how to actually go back to human too.
Yeah. He learns that he can go back and forth between his human but he can't. Sometimes he can't control it when he's excited. Sometimes he doesn't even know. Which leads us to a part where the exam comes in, the first part of the exam letters. He's like, oh, I'll take it out to him. He's already out in the field. His friend does. And he's like, hey, I got your exam thing. You passed. And he's like, oh, that's cool. He sits up. He's like, that's cool. And he has the kaiju head, but the human body. He's like, what the fuck? What are you doing? There's people out here. They're going to see you. And he's like, oh, my bad. And he goes back to his head. He's like, you cannot, are you really thinking about taking the second part of the exam? Like, if you turn into a kaiju, like, they're going to fucking find you. But anyways, blah, blah, blah. It's just really comedy at this point. They get to the second part of the exam. Come to find out these power suits have a limiter on them. Not really a limiter, but it's more like how do you call it? Like a gauge, I guess you call it, like a gauge of your own power.
Mm-hmm.
So like you bring out with your DNA, I guess. They didn't really explain how these suits work, but with your own DNA is how you bring out how much power the suit has. So if you have 1%, then you only bring out 1% of the suit's power. If you have 40%, you bring out 40%. The highest ever brought out by a rookie, because the more you're in the suit and the more you're fighting, the more you can bring out its power.
Mm-hmm.
But the highest percent ever brought out by a rookie was 17%. When he meets this girl who I think kind of loves him now. I don't know if you've gotten this far.
I got far to meeting the girl and starting the exam.
Yeah, well, I think she has like a thing for him, because she keeps like in the back of her mind, she's just like, I need you to see that, I want to see that power that I saw in the parking lot, like it's a weird thing. But she brings out 46% of the suit. And so people are like, oh my God, she's the best in the whole fucking world, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she's a prodigy. And they end up having to go into an arena to fight kaijus as recruits, as, whatever. But they put the suits on. He brings out 0% of the suit. And I'm like, at first I'm like, wait, why? He has a whole kaiju inside him. But then I'm like, it kind of makes sense. If I do the whole meme where the dude's like on the whiteboard with all the things and he's like, let me show you how this makes sense. Like I could bring that up, but I'm not about to go rambling through my head, but it kind of makes sense. Go through the whole exam. Everything's good. Where we're at right now is they didn't pass the exam. They all kind of got fucked up because another human-sized kaiju comes out and fucks the place up. He ends up having to turn into his kaiju form to beat not the human-sized kaiju, but a super kaiju, like all these kaiju bodies molded together and created the Megazord, which was kind of weird. And he beats it, shows the girl, like the girl sees him, and she's like, and he turns his head, he brings his head back to human form. He's like, hey, can you not tell anybody about this?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
He's like, can we not tell anybody about this? Where I'm at right now, I'm not caught up. Where I'm at right now, she's kind of trying to process that, and she knows, but they're still trying to figure out like what happened from the exam and from the arena. So we don't know who's passed and who hasn't passed yet. Just from where I'm at, I'm sure it's already out. A couple of episodes already past it, but he ends up pretty much saving the day. And again, they're still trying to figure out like, this human-sized kaiju, like, yeah, there's one out there, blah blah blah, but they're actually, the one that's been causing havoc is actually the other one who actually has the ability. He has a necromancer skill where he can bring dead kaijus back to life and form them into new kaijus. Then we see that evil life-size necromancer, or evil size kaiju, or whatever, normal size kaiju, in the bathroom on his cell phone. And he's like, oh, fuck, I'm not famous yet. Fuck. And he's like sitting there like with headphones in. He's too big for the stall. And he's like, fuck. And he's like falling off the toilet. And then you hear, what are you doing in there? Come on, we got to go. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be right out. Walks out, changes back into his human form, walks out. It's the main character's sanitation force. And he's in a sanitation outfit, like a kaiju cleanup outfit. So he's infiltrated the kaiju cleanup crew, his friends and shit. But this show is easily an S. It's hilarious, it's bloody, it's violent, it's going someplace. Like within 4 episodes, there's a plot. Like with the whole human-sized kaiju that can bring other kaijus back to life, so on and so forth. I'm sure the old boy's gonna pass, because there was this thing. They said it before. They said with years of training, you can bring power out of the suit, but it takes years for even like a couple percent or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, he had 0 during the exam when he was like getting really, like when he was like really like, I'm gonna fight, like he got fucked up like bad. I mean, when his spine almost got snapped, his legs were broken, and then he brought out that 0.1%. That's like never happened before in the history of the suit, apparently. I'm assuming he's gonna pass, but this show to me is like fantastic. I think there's some people out there hating, but I haven't been listening to that shit. But there's some people hating on it.
When I first started it, I immediately said, oh, okay, Attack on Titan, got it. Eren Yeager, got it.
I forgot to say that this is literally like Attack on Titan, but it's not.
But it's funny
cringy.
As fuck.
It's not cringy like Newgate. Like it's hilarious.
It has the tropes of Attack on Titan, but it's not common. Like they make their own thing of it. And it's adult funny, like when we compare it to My Hero Academia. Yet it's that Attack on Titan vibes, in which obviously the main character gains the power of the grand enemy and uses that in order to fight for humanity. I like that. It's
AOT with comedy.
Yeah, it's AOT with comedy. It's actually pretty good. And of course, if we start to build a world of other people who's been influenced, just like Attack on Titan. We start finding out other people also have the same power, and I didn't even know. I hadn't even seen the whole the villain yet, who also has the power.
He's like a mushroom head.
If we start getting that, I'm gonna appreciate it, and they obviously start to explain it in a great way of why that's happening and who these people are. I think it's definitely going to secure itself as a S-rank anime by the end of the season.
Fortunately, that I've seen a lot of animes, I don't think this guy is the big bad. And the reason why I say that is because the bug itself, the kaiju itself, was like, found you, like, I was looking for you, which means somebody's controlling kaijus. Like, so this dude, I didn't see this power yet. The dude reanimated dead kaijus and then formed them into one, but he wasn't controlling them. They were just going on their normal rampage. But somebody either is omnipotent enough to control kaijus or talk through kaijus, which I haven't seen the guy do. The guy hasn't done. So I don't think it was him that was like, because when I hear found you, that doesn't strike me as, oh, I'm just looking for a random human. No, I'm looking for you. Like, I found you. You know what I'm saying? That to me, that's somebody in the background, somebody we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
Talking about some, like, I've been watching you for a minute. I've seen that you've been trying to, like, join the defense force, this and that. Like, I'm trying to create an army of kaiju style humans. Like, since you want to join the KDF, I see you have indomitable spirit, maybe. Like, I don't know what his reasons were to find our main character specifically, but I think there's somebody else in the background that maybe Mushroom Head. He has like he looks like a creature from Silent Hill. He has like this big, thin dome on his head.
Yeah, I saw it. It's like 2 plates. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, but like, I think he answers to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know, but that's why I'm intrigued by it. I'm like, there's something else in the shadows going on. You know what I'm saying? So this show is fucking great. I love this show.
Yes. Next
Go Loser Ranger.
I like it. I actually do like the show. I'm not yet ready to put it into an S. Again, I haven't fully caught up on it. I think I'm like 5 episodes into this one. It's like 7 episodes so far. It's the premise of the show is what gets me and why it's an A. So when you first start the show, obviously Go Loser Rangers, it makes you think of Power Rangers. And when we think of Power Rangers are the heroes of the world, and they're the ones who are protecting us from the
Tyrannosaurus.
Aliens. Not these Power Rangers. These Power Rangers are actually pretty fucked up, in which when the alien invasion happened, I can't remember the exact amount of years ago. It could have been like 5-10 years ago. They fought them. I thought it was
20. I thought it was a 20-year time skip.
I don't think it was 20 years because they're all fairly young. So
it was a 0. It might have been 10. It might have been 10 or something like that.
It's either 10, 5, or 1 year. I can't remember exactly. Well, it wasn't 1. It was either 10 or 5 because when the aliens originally attacked, it only took them 1 year to defeat the aliens. Now, 4 years later or 9 years later, they're still fighting the aliens. The whole world thinks that the alien invasion is still happening, but in reality, these Go Loser Rangers or Power Rangers, they have manipulated the aliens. They killed all of the bosses, all of the generals, lieutenant generals, all of the big bad guys, a part of the alien force. They killed them all within the first year. Everyone who's still left are just the grunts, just the minions of the big bad guys, and they have now forced them and said, "Hey, if you want to live." You want to continue living, you're going to have to produce big bad guys for us, and we're going to put on a show every Sunday, like every fucking Sunday, like every week.
Church.
And they have to put on a show in a fucking arena of them trying to defeat the Rangers, but at the end of the day, the Rangers always win. And one day, like during one of these shows, our main character, who's a grunt, and he's like, "Fuck this. Why are we doing this? Why are we putting on a show like we some hoes?
I've seen this fight.
We're the bad guys. We're not hoes." So he's like, you know what? I'm about to go in. I'm about to show them what we made of. They absolutely demolished them. So from that point on, and then it pissed off the Rangers too. Like the Red Rangers, like of course the leader, and it pissed him off. He's like, "Are you trying to fucking embarrass us right now?" Like he whispered in his ear.
He's a diva. Like, he's a diva.
"Are you trying to embarrass us? Don't you ever fucking do something like this again." And then they destroyed him. So not going to go too far into it, but this grunt's whole purpose in life now is to find their weapons, because they have like these legendary weapons that they use to actually, because they're immortal, but when they use these weapons they have the ability to kill them. To find these weapons, disarm them so that they can finally get their get back, and then either leave, take over the world, because he still thinks they're going to do world domination. That's not happening, bro. Let's just go ahead and kill that. But then we start to realize that there's other people a part of the Rangers who, mind you, the world doesn't know. Only people who know are the leaders. So the main Rangers and they're like vice admiral, they're second in command. They're the only ones who know what's going on. So there are people within the loser Rangers, like because it's a huge organization that has other people who want to one day become the leader. Yeah. Who knows the truth and wants to help him take down, or at least reveal the truth to the world, so the world knows what's truly going on.
Yeah. They would have become irrelevant. They want to stay rich and famous. Mm-hmm. They love the limelight. They're fucking celebrities. Like if they killed him, if they beat him, it's like, this is, to me. So I've never actually just sat down and watched the show, but I've seen like a shit ton of clips. I've seen like, the one dude that's like, another new anime alert. And he does like he does like the voices. I've seen a bunch of clips from that. Like these dudes, this reminds me of like Power Rangers / The Boys. Like, if you ever watch the Boys TV show with, like, Superman, all of them are, like, just fucking dickheads. Like, that's literally what it is. It's like the superheroes you think you love aren't really the superheroes you think you love. You know what I'm saying? They're actually fucking dickheads. But all they want to do is be rich and famous. And that's because if they were like, after 1 year, we beat them, guys, they'd be like, okay, yeah, cool, we love you guys, you're amazing. A year later, they'd have been like, oh, you were one of those Ranger guys. I remember you. They didn't want that. So... like I definitely need to check this out. The problem was it's not on Crunchyroll, and I have to come up here or go on my TV. It's a whole process. It's a whole process. So
but I think it can move to S. I truly believe it can move to S. I just need to sit down and catch up again to see where they went. Because the last thing I saw, like, he was able to accomplish his mission, but at a sacrifice. So I want to see how they navigate that and continue to move forward in the story. And I might come back next week and be like, yo, I've caught up in that shit. It's an S.
Oh, nice. All right. So the last one we got is the most surprising one in the entire lineup for me. It's the Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride. And I remember a quote from you. Well, not a quote, but quoting you. You were like, you probably don't want to watch this. It's lovey-dovey. It's about bride shit. I've already seen like a trailer or a clip or something. And I was like, yeah, I probably won't. But my wife was like, I want to watch that. Elf Bride, rom-com, whatever. This show is fucking fantastic.
Oh boy, a rom-com fan.
Fantastic. Because it is a rom-com, but there's so much fighting. Oh my God. Like, so this show is about a kid who is not a mage. They call it something else. It's like a mage. Let me just call it a mage, whatever. But he's a mage. In their world, mages are bad guys. Like all mages. All mages are bad guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you can use magic, you're a bad guy. Unless you're a part of the Holy Church, you're a bad guy. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is a bad guy, but he's not a monster kind of deal. It's one of those. Like, I'm a bad guy, but I'm not a monster. He's like a prodigy in magic. When I mean like Anos level magic. He essentially is just living his life, doing his thing in his castle. He inherited a castle because when he was 10 years old, he killed a high mage, like a higher mage. He has this ability where he's like Kakashi. He can copy magic. The minute he sees it, he can memorize everything in its circle. So one of the things, and this is nerding out on magic scales in shows or magic power systems. Whenever we see magic power systems with circles in a lot of anime, they never really explain the circle. They just say, this is the circle for this is the circle for that. But he's like, no. He's in one of the shows, he teaches a girl, the elf bride, he teaches her about magic circles, and he said, so make your circle, now make your inner circle. Every single bit of the writing in here is the spell itself, and then the writing on the inseam is the spell, is the counter, the protection of the spell, and then everything in the middle is all the filler you need to put in so that nobody else's spell can cancel out your spell. Like, he actually breaks down a magic circle, and I actually really appreciated that. But anyways, He's living his life, doing his thing. He inherited that castle. He's just like, I'm so fucking bored. Like, I don't know what to do. He ends up going to a slave auction. Well, it's not really a slave auction. It's more so it's a giveaway. So an archdemon, there's 12
Slave
archdemons.
giveaway. Okay.
So it's not a slave giveaway. It's giving away everything because there's 12 archdemons. These 12 archdemons are the most powerful mages in the entire world. They have a seal that whenever you get their crest on your hand, you gain that previous archdemon's power. So it's like all for or one for all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you gain every ability they had. You gain immense power. I mean, you gain like a lot of power. Well, an archdemon died, so they were having an auction of all his items to the public. It's a normal thing apparently, but it's only to mages, obviously. And they were auctioning off all his shit. Then the elf girl comes up, and they're like, "This is an elf girl," so on and so forth. This man falls in love with her. Like he's just like, it's like the Lego Batman thing. It was like, I'm just dying in your arms tonight. He's like, you know what I'm saying? And he's just like, and they're like, we're gonna start the bidding, and he's like, 2 million gold. He's like, fucking like 2 million fucking bones.
Okay.
And they're just like, oh my god, 2 million gold, sir, you win, you got her. You know what I'm saying? And he comes down. He like it shows her standing like at a side view, and he's just like, and he like appears in her face, and he's like, hello. And then she's just like, hello. And he's like, all right, so I'm gonna take her, this and that. Takes her to the castle. He's like, shit, I'm poor. I ain't got no more money. Like it's like
all his bread.
All his bread, all of it, bro. All his bread. Well, he meets her and he's like sitting there and he's like, fuck, I don't know how to talk to women. He's like, I don't know how to talk to women. And it's How to Love Your Elf Bride. And one thing we both misinterpreted, and a lot of the internet did, was we assumed that it was a communication barrier. Like that, why he couldn't, how to talk to your elf bride or how to love your elf bride or whatever. But it's not. It's just that he thinks he doesn't have Riz. Like he has no game. But the more in the show we go, this motherfucker got game. Like game on game on game. But anyways, he's sitting there and he's like, I don't know how to talk to women. And he's like, what's your name, woman? Like, he's like, fuck. And then it's like one of those things where like, you see the funny, he's like, yeah, and then in his head he's like, why the fuck did I do finger guns? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So he's like sitting there on his throne, he's like, what's your name, woman? And then in the mind he's like, why did I say that? And then she's like, my name, I forgot what her name is, but he's like, my name's blah blah blah. He's like, all right, she's like, so how do you plan on killing me, master? And he's like, in his head, he's like, killing you? Why the fuck would I kill you? I love you. What the fuck? And he's like, I have use for you. I'm not gonna kill you yet. He's like, why the fuck did I say that? He's like, and then he's like, he ends up like they kind of communicate a little bit, and he's like, what is this little chain around your neck? And she's like, it seals my magical powers in, this and that. It's kind of like just kind of like get to know each other like a little bit, but he's kind of being a dick. But he's like, that's the only way he knows how to talk is just by being a dick. But this man is broken. Like people keep trying to raid his crib too. Like people keep trying to like these soldiers from the Holy Church are trying to raid his crib, and they hit his barrier. He goes out there, wipes them off the fucking map. Like doesn't kill them, but he like fucks them up. He ends up saving the Holy Church's main knight. It's a female. He ends up saving her life. Because he doesn't know that she was a holy knight. Well, he ends up finding out, but he saves her life. She ends up getting banished because they think there's a lot of like women going missing in the village, like a lot of women. And some other mage has been using his name, like saying that it was him that was doing it. And so these holy knights keep attacking his crib, attacking. He just keeps fucking them up. And the longer we go in, the more he's like, them are getting close together, and she's just like, you're gonna kill me? And he's like, no, I need, and like there's one point where he's just like, he's talking about hanging curtains because he's trying to make the castle more presentable for her. Like he's trying to make it, because it's like a dreary, dark fucking cast spiders everywhere. And he's like, I think I should hang. And she's like, me? And he's like, no, bro. He's like, bro, no. He's like, I'm not gonna kill you. Stop, you know? And he's like, well, what the fuck is wrong with you? Is this a kink or something? You know, like it's crazy. Yeah, and he's just like, no, what the fuck? And then, But they end up coming to a point where they're all in the race to be the next archdemon. And he has this friend who is also in the race for archdemon. I say friend, but they were like kids together and they've just been like frenemies ever
like
since
rivals.
They were growing up.
Yeah,
like rivals. And he keeps finding out, he's like, my name's being used, this and that, so on and so forth. Like, I need my name to stop getting dragged through the mud, but I'll handle that shit later. He's like he's like a Shikamaru, but broken. Like, he's like, ugh, this is so boring. Like, this is such a drag. Like, blah, blah, blah. And then at one point, him and her are like real close. Like, where I'm at right now, they're like real close. And again, I don't want to skip over the fact that there's a lot of fighting in this, and the magic is fucking fantastic. But he ends up getting summoned by the archdemons. And they're just like, what's up? And he's like, what am I here for? I'm like, bro, you're talking to the 11 most strongest people on the planet. And he's like, we've decided to make you the next archdemon. Because we figured, it says the archdemon's dilemma, but he's not an archdemon yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, we've decided to make you the next archdemon and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, why the fuck y'all calling me here? Like, he's being mad disrespectful, and they start laughing at his ass. They're like, you really got some balls coming in here, talking about like this and that, because he's strong. I mean, when I say he's strong, he could probably fight an archdemon without being an archdemon. Like, that's how strong he is. And he's just like, really wanted to be an archdemon, but this, I would have to like do shit, and I don't know if I want to do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're just like, well, think about it this way, and they go through this whole like history lesson. He's like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. He's like, you know what? I guess I'll be an archdemon. And they imbued him with the archdemon, with the seal, with the crest seal or whatever.
Of the last archdemon?
Yeah, of the last archdemon seal. And so he takes his powers. Yeah, he got all his powers in his hand. He has this tattoo on his hand. Stronger. But he's now becoming he got stronger, even more broken. But now he's like a target, and he goes into like a spiel, which I'm not going to get into, about how he's a target now. People are going to be coming after him. The Holy Church is going to even ramp up because if they find out, which they will, because everybody knows exactly who the archdemons are. They're not like a secret society. They just don't know where they are. He's like, but for me, nigga, I live down the street. Like, they know where I'm. They show up in my shit all the time. They find out I'm an archdemon. It's going to be armies at my door. I don't want the woman that I love to be involved in this. So he goes back and does the whole fucking like, get out of here. I don't want you anymore. Like, I don't need you. Right. He ends up transporting her ass to, First he goes up to her and he fucking grabs that fucking, because he became the last archdemon, he got the key to her shackle. And so he puts the key in, unlocks her neck shackle, which she's broken as fuck too. Like, these people try to at one point these people try to like jump his ass, and I forgot exactly what happened, but somehow he slipped up at one point, but she grew like these vines that you just fucking like attack people, choke people out, pop heads off. It was crazy. But unlocks her shackle, and he's like, look, I've become an archdemon. I don't have any use for you anymore. In the back of his head, he cried. Like, he's like, I don't have use for you anymore. Like,
please don't go.
Like, yeah, he's like, I don't got no use for you. I don't want you around anymore. I don't need you. So, and he transports her ass to the town. Well, there's two other, like, that town, they hate Holy Knights because the Holy Knights are dickheads. They find her, so on and so forth. But then those girls end up getting kidnapped again by the demon that's not demon, but by the mage that's kidnapping women. He ends up finding out about it because somebody comes and tells him, and he's like, now my woman, you're not about to kidnap my woman. We end up finding out it's his rival that's been using his name to kidnap these women because he's trying to summon something into this world. And how to do that is to by siphon magic from women and by sacrificing them. And then he ends up going there. Last episode I watched, he goes there, finds her, rescues her, but while rescuing her, because he's so strong, whoops his friend's ass, by the way. I mean, beats his shit in, pause. He ends up cracking the seal that he was using and opens a doorway to whatever was coming through, and an actual demon, like a real demon. And people were terrified of these things. He was terrified. Like, our main character, he was like, what the fuck? Like, I can't fight this. I'm not strong enough. Like, I'm not even strong enough. Like, this is going to be cataclysmic to the world. And then he's standing there and he's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And the demon bends the knee to him. The demon sees his seal on his hand and says, my king, what are your orders for me? And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, go back to where you came from. And he's like, yes, my king. And literally goes back to the demon realm. And he's like, I almost shit my pants. like what the fuck? And so that was the last episode I watched. And the reason why I loved it so much is because that goes to show me either A, all the archdemons are like kings to real demons, or B, his specific seal has something extra to it that we don't know about. You know what I'm saying? But this show is super fucking funny. There's fighting every single episode. He's hilarious, but he's been raising her ass up. And then she came in, he's like, I don't want you to ever leave me anymore, this and that. They end up on a cliff together, and he's just like, I don't know how to say this to you. And she's like, I know. And she puts her head on him like he was gonna say I love you. Like they've confirmed that they love each other. You know what I'm saying? This show is an S to me. Out of the most surprising things in the world, this show is a whole S to me. So I fucking, this show is fantastic. So
okay.
It's super. I would have never watched this shit. I would have never watched this.
I'm just happy you're now a rom-com fan.
I'm a rom-com fan. Hey, you know, it's
finally admits it.
Romantic comedy. But we got a stack today. I know we've been going for a bit, but like we stacked up. This season's been great with how many broken characters we got, magical isekais to other magical worlds. The action we got. I mean, this season's been fantastic.
I think we've been fair this season though, because imagine last season or one before that. We were kind of S heavy at some point. No, I mean, like I believe it was like in our mid tier, we were more S heavy than we are now. Now I think we're more evenly paced out, but we also pick and choose the ones we watch. It's not like we're watching every single one of them.
And to our audience, like, we're not watching every single new anime that drops. One, we ain't got time for that. Two, we know what we don't like. Like, I'm not gonna watch grandma and grandpa become young again. Like, I'm sorry, it's not like. If you want a review on that, then go find somebody that reviewed it, or like go watch it yourself. But like, we're gonna watch ones that we think are the most interesting and give you our opinions on. Because David, we've watched ones where we were just like, get it off the tier list. Like, this shit was ass. You know what I'm saying? So we have watched bad ones. We haven't just watched ones that are good. Like, we've definitely had it was a few seasons ago. We had like 3 or 4 Ds. Like, we were just like, this shit is ass. Like, I don't know what's going on this season. So, but I think this season is really balanced and really good. I think a lot of these are going to move up too.
Yeah, hopefully. So maybe some of them are going to move down. Quite honestly, I can see about 2 of them that may move down. But I think we're going to be a little heavier on the end of the season, because honestly, the returns of the season, it seemed like a lot of them we were just looking forward to, especially with the Re-Monster, with Kaiju number 8. I know I was looking forward to those, especially Go-Go Loser Ranger. When I first found out a Power Ranger anime was coming out, I'm like, I don't care when, I'm watching that one. So,
facts.
I got bright hopes for the future. Bright hopes.
Good. Well, I appreciate it, everybody. This has been our mid-season. Again, we have more content coming up. We've been waiting for this. We will be recording again. You'll be getting your regularly scheduled programming every week now. So we got a lot of stuff coming up, stuff that we haven't covered yet that may be a little old, but we still need to talk about it, give our opinions on. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on our future videos. We appreciate those loyal subscribers that have been hitting us. We're road to 1,000. We're almost halfway through the year. We need to pick it up. So hit the subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. Love you. Peace out.
Peace.